of course, we have to dedicate some time to a whole block of comedies on Almost Canceled. And of course, we got to start with The Muppets. Full spoilers for season 1, episode 6, entitled The X Factor. There was no IMDb summary, so I just wrote this. Kermit asked Miss Piggy to help pick a gift for his new girlfriend, and it blows up in his face.
Hey, Alex.
Because that's what happened.
You could totally write summaries for IMDb.
Oh, man. Maybe I should stop doing this podcast and just do
that full time. Yeah.
It's a new life goal.
Yeah.
It would be fantastic.
What do you do for a living? I write summaries for episodes of TV on IMDb.
Oh, yeah. That's like only slightly sadder than Yelp Reviewer. Anyway, so for a few weeks now, it's mostly just been me and Alan Malden talking about Muppets, but both Peter Bradley and Connor Ryan have caught up, just so we could talk about these nice little felt friends of ours. So, Connor, what did you think about the Muppets up to this point, too? I guess if you just want to...
Okay, I should probably start with saying that before this, I'd never really watched anything of the Muppets, so I didn't go in expecting anything specific. I didn't have any attachment to any of it, so I think that might have helped in some ways. And then when I got into the show and it was basically 30 Rock meets The Office, I was pretty much on board. And then, yeah, it's been a lot of fun throughout. It's starting to figure itself out a bit more. I thought the first few were a bit over the place, but by like episode 4, I think, was the one with the karaoke bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. From like that onwards, I think it's been pretty solid and knows what it's doing now. This episode in specific, or just...
Oh, well, let's get Peter's general thoughts before we get to this week's episode, I guess. So, Peter, you also caught up. Did you have any attachment to the Muppets before this?
More than Connor, I guess, although not much. I mean, I remember seeing the Christmas Carol, the Muppets Christmas Carol when I was a kid. And I seen the first movie that came out a few years ago with Amy Adams and Jason Segel. I enjoyed that movie. That movie was actually surprisingly good. I wasn't expecting to like it. I never saw the second one. Don't know if I should rectify that, but I'm sure someone will tell me.
It's not as good, but it's not a bad movie.
But yeah, so I went into this and I'd heard all the criticisms of it's too grown up, or they're referencing like alcohol problems and shit. And it's like they shouldn't be doing that with the Muppets. That didn't bother me. It just was like whatever. They still feel like the Muppets to me. Like, but again, I'm not like a hardcore fan who watched all the old shows and stuff, so maybe I'd be more offended or whatever. I don't know. But no, I've been liking it. In particular, I love Miss Piggy because she is such an awful human being and gets away with it that I don't know. I think maybe I aspire to get away with the awfulness that she is.
Just, you want to be a class A bitch.
Yeah. It just cracks me up just the way she manipulates people and her reactions to things. In fact, to get into this week's episode, when Kermit's like asking for a favor and she's like, or he says, you know, I want to buy a present for someone. I need your help. And she's like, oh, who is this? Your grandma, your parents, your friend, your whoever. Oh, it's my girlfriend. Is it? And she drops the mirror or whatever she's holding. It just smashes. Favorite moment of the episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just I don't know. There's something about her reactions to things that really cracked me up.
I liked it in that same bit where she was like, "You have to tell me what she's like so she can work out a present." And everything Kermit told her, she just twisted.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing a lot. I've been trying to read into more of like specifically why so many people are against this show, and I guess it falls into, for a lot of people, it feels like if you took the Muppets out and replaced them with anybody else, like it could still totally work as a sitcom. But I put that more in its favor, I think, because then it's just adding that extra level of Muppets that gives it, you know, a little bit more of a spice than you would have in your normal sitcom. Because that same bit you were just saying there, Peter, like you replace those with human actors, and I don't think it's as funny.
I don't think it is. I think if you do Miss Piggy with a regular human being, it's not it's over the top and annoying. Yeah, it'll come off as a complete caricature, but because it's a puppet or a Muppet, it works.
And I don't think that's necessarily fair. There've been lots of stuff with the bear like in the
Oh,
last few
Fozzie.
episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't make
like
jokes about
that
someone being a bear if it's a human.
and there's been a lot of jokes related to him being a bear,
Yeah.
and it just so there's stuff like that where it wouldn't work if you just swapped them out.
I guess maybe just for some people it weirds them out, but like it's a comedy. I've been watching. I mean, we reviewed all of Rick and Morty season 2 earlier this few months ago, and like the amount of crazy shit that happens there is like no. I understand this is like a family sitcom or whatever, but I'm just saying like people have gone to all sorts of different places in comedy, and like the line people are drawing are I don't like seeing a bear with a human. Like I don't like seeing that they're dating. Like it's not real. Stop it. Anyway, so speaking of Muppets dating, we've got probably the first episode that we've had. I don't even remember her name, but Kermit's new pig girlfriend. She's at like Denise. There you go. She's actually kind of in the episode this time.
Yeah, she's not been around since episode 1, I don't think.
Yeah, so I felt like anytime that she was there, the episode suffered a little bit, just because I don't really care about her yet. But that's not even really the point. It's more that you're supposed to care that Kermit cares, I guess. Yeah, Miss Piggy was definitely the funniest aspect of this episode to me, and all the Kermit stuff with Denise just wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't really laughing at it too much. I was just like, Kermit, stop being a dickhead.
It was,
and just,
it was a pretty
pay
standard
attention.
sitcom plot, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually think this is probably maybe one of the weaker episodes they've had so far, just because the Piggy stuff was great, but the stuff with the band and the famous person whose name I can't remember.
Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah. I wasn't really feeling that plot. Like
You said that so sheepishly, Connor.
No, I was just trying to think. Just
I run her
should I know who she is, Connor? Like,
probably not.
yeah, okay, that's okay then.
She's been on a lot of different things, just guest stars.
No, I mean I recognise her face, but like I wouldn't.
Nothing particular, I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, every other episode, the B plot has been Fozzie, and Fozzie's not even in this episode. I don't even recall hearing or seeing him. But yeah, the band, I don't know. That doesn't really make.
I did enjoy the scene where they were asking her to come and sing for the party. Like that bit with the band, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, and the one at the end kept saying the wrong things.
Yeah.
Which some people are upset because, oh no, they're high, even though they've always been high. But whatever. I will say that using them as a B plot didn't really go anywhere. I mean, they just went out to the desert and just fought and then left her. I mean, it was all pretty predictable, but it also didn't have enough laughs for me, I guess.
Yeah.
This is probably the weakest.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the last 3, I think. Because I watched them all like over today and yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The last 3 I thought were much stronger than this one.
Yeah.
I would definitely agree. All right, so that does it for this week's Muppets. But we have plenty of other comedies to talk about because...
Nothing new, mind you.
No, that was the only new thing. But we still have some other things because of the way that we record and put out our weekly reviews of stuff. We decided maybe we'll bring back on some comedies because actually a couple weeks ago we stopped reviewing Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But because it's off this week, and the last 2 episodes in particular, the ones that we skipped were actually like the best episodes of the season. We're gonna just jump right back in. So, full spoilers for season 2, episodes 4 and 5 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and they are entitled "The Oolong Slayer" and "Halloween 3." I'm not gonna read synopsis for these. Oolong Slayer is about the Oolong Slayer, and Halloween 3 is about the 3rd Halloween episode. So,
yeah. I'll admit, this is a really obscure joke that no one else watching would probably get. But as a reference to Halloween 3, the movie, I would have loved if that episode had none of the characters that are usually on the show in it. Just a joke. But,
what did you want? That creepy song and for everybody's heads turning to bugs or whatever happened in that dumb movie.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good, but it wasn't terrible either.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time.
But the episode Halloween 3, it was fantastic.
It was.
Yeah.
Once again, we well, we should start with the first one, or the fourth one rather. Mostly because that's where we get Captain Holt returning to the 9-9 at the end.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. This was the first episode of this season, at least, where we really got to see Jake be an awesome police officer, like a good detective, and actually be passionate about his case and do something awesome. I mean, we haven't really seen stuff like that since like late last season, I guess. So maybe when with the what was it, the Pontiac Bandit and stuff like that. Like this felt more like something he was very into, and then using leverage at the end to get Captain Holt back in, kick the Vulture out.
Well, I mean, even just the stuff with him and Holt like teaming up outside the law to like take on someone down. And I think one of my favourite lines of the episode was, "Oh, we just caught a serial killer. I've been wanting to do that since I was 9." And like Holt just like, that is seriously wrong.
I loved when they had to meet in the diner, and what's her name?
Gina.
Yeah, and she had to get Holt there, like lie to him to get him there. And then he just comes up with the breakfast and it was like the other people's breakfast, and he was like just serving them. It's just like a serious level of commitment just to get this conversation.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Or even earlier when they're talking in the bathroom, in the guy's bathroom, in the cubicle, and like Gina just like is just in the guy's bathroom listening to them when they come out of the cubicle. That was really good
because the acoustics are amazing in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the loudest I laughed during the episode was so Holt and Gina and Jake are all in, I guess, Holt's study, and they're writing things down, and they figure something out, and they're like, "Good, we should celebrate." And he opens up this globe that has this scotch and everything in it, and Jake goes, "Oh, that's what globes are for." And I just
that killed me.
Laughing. So good. Just everything with Holt and Jake is always hilarious. Just Holt brings out more of the serious detective work in Jake, and Jake brings more of the what the giddy makes it fun part of Holt. It's like oh, that's so cool. I mean, terrible. It is very cool. I mean, terrible. It's good stuff. And then Halloween 3. Now that Holt is back as the captain of the 9-9. They don't waste any time and just get right into another Halloween heisting situation, which, it was like, how do you top last year's one where it was so intricate? And the way they went for it this year was more to kind of make Amy more of a winner.
Yeah, the rogue third player who was upset that neither won. And actually, I was like, I mean, it was funny when Jake started yelling at her boobs because he thought there was a wire, but when Holt started doing it, I lost my shit. Like,
yeah.
And then she's just like, "Why does everyone think that's where the wire would be?" And then Holt's like, "Because the cleavage is the perfect place to hit it," or whatever it was.
Yeah. The curves the curves mask.
And then at the end, they're just like, "I'm sorry, I said cleavage."
Yeah, no, it was pretty awesome. We got to see oh God, what's her name? Oh no, terrible. Badass. Rosa, thank you. Jeez. I kept wanting to say Gina, but because it's 2 4-letter names, but that would be totally wrong. Yeah, we got to see Rosa be super awesome, like cut into the glass and like jump out, do some somersaults, shit. It was pretty awesome.
And then basically like she did nothing.
Yeah, it was basically the polar opposite of the guy on Scream Queens this past week. Is basically what that was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Any standout moments for you, Connor?
It probably was that bit where Rosa was just going all that stuff, and you had him down on the wires from the ceiling, come out the wrong vent, and it was just that conversation trying to prolong it for as long as possible. And then just afterwards, just acting like it was all like Rosa did nothing for it.
Yeah.
That was great.
Or even at the end when oh no, I'm forgetting the name. The guy in the scene that's not Jake, the other one.
Oh, Boyle.
Boyle, thank you. When Boyle's like, "Ha, like I would ever pick the wrong vet," like, like that line got me.
Yeah. So suffice it to say, Brooklyn Nine-Nine has been consistently hilarious. and we should not have stopped reviewing it. But
Probably not.
we will continue going forth with it because I didn't include this on news a couple of weeks ago, but on November 22nd, we're going to get a very special episode where we meet Captain Holt's ex-lover, who is played by Nick Offerman.
Oh shit!
Oh, that's gonna be great.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so
How
get
long
excited
till
for that.
November 22nd?
November 22nd.
Oh
It's going to be
man,
awesome.
that's like a cooling off treat for Jessica Jones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, that does it for this week and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, despite it not being on. All right, finally in our little comedy block here, we're going to talk about two different pilots. They came out about 5 weeks ago when we recorded about like 50 other shows. But because these just got renewed last week, we figured, hey, let's check out the pilots, see if either of them are any good, and maybe we could add another comedy to our block. And those two shows come from the Fox network, and they are entitled The Grinder and Grandfathered. So I'm going to give you the brief synopsis for what both of these shows are about. The first one, The Grinder, stars Rob Lowe and Fred Savage, and it is about a television lawyer who moves back to a small hometown after a stint in Hollywood, thinking that his time on TV qualifies him to run his family's law firm. And then Grandfathered is the one that stars John Stamos and Josh Peck, and it is about a confirmed bachelor discovers he's a dad and a grandfather. So one's a little bit more higher concept than the other one, but they're both pretty standard sitcoms, I would say. So, Connor, what do you think about these two shows?
Well, The Grinder, I watched when it first came out, and I've been watching that through anyway, and I'm really enjoying that. I think it's...
Oh, wow.
No, so you've watched like 5 episodes of that then?
I think I've watched 4, maybe. I haven't watched the latest one, or maybe 2. I'm not sure now. But I've been more or less keeping up to date with that. So I haven't actually seen this episode since it aired, so I'm a little bit fuzzy on all of the particular lines of this one. But it was obviously good enough that I obviously kept watching past it, so I must have enjoyed it at least a bit. But no, I think it's pretty solid, and it is just ridiculous at times, but it works for it with the cheesy music going on.
Yeah. So with The Grinder, I mean, it starts off with the series finale of The Grinder.
Yeah.
The show that Rob Lowe was on in this show. And yeah, it's constantly poking fun at itself by being the comedy version of one of those standard law procedural shows.
Yeah.
That's what really stood out to me about it. It was like, okay, I could see them having fun with this on a weekly basis, taking the tropes of, what would seem like a mundane case, but then have it blown out of perspective, through the eyes of an active CSI watcher or something, I don't know, Peter, what did you think about the pilot for The Grinder?
I wasn't feeling it when it started. A lot of it did feel very sort of conventional sitcom-y, although I did like to see Charlie Day's wife as the wife of Fred Savage. She's also in It's Always Sunny. Yeah, she's the waitress. Which always cheers me up when I watch that show, that in real life that Charlie got the girl, so I feel better about it. But so I wasn't feeling it really for the moment. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, Rob Lowe was fine and all that. But when it got the scene that I first started to kind of get interested, actually, was when Rob Lowe sat down with his nephew, and the boy who was claiming to be over to like hang out with him was actually just there to like spend the night with his sister. That scene where he's basically negotiating what his nephew should get out of this, did kind of crack me up, especially the end when he's and you're going to put on your Instagram hashtag teen life. Hashtag teen life? Seriously? What part of hashtag teen life do you not understand? So that was good. And then the scene when he actually shows up at the court and kind of saves the day and tricks the guy into admitting that he's,
I love how everyone's so awestruck of him.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's seen the show and they just kind of let him get away with whatever he wants because he's done it on the show.
Because the other lawyer's like, not a lawyer. He's not a lawyer. I've got like 50 objections to this.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that he does kind of fuck it up though. Like he thinks he's done it, and everyone's cheering. And he's like, "Yeah, technically this can't stand. You know, you can't do this." But then his brother, who's the actual lawyer, kind of, you know,
Yeah.
it still was a little bit silly though, because the whole thing where he falls over the banister into the jury section and all that was a bit goofy. So that had its moments, but I wasn't in love with it.
Yeah, that stuff felt like it just felt like a pilot thing. It was like, oh, this is a network sitcom pilot. Even the shows that I loved most in their pilots, they had some grown-worthy moments. Even like Community's pilot, there are moments where I go, oh wow, yeah, this looks like an NBC show. Just at moments.
Parks and Rec had a whole season of just like,
Yeah. Luckily, it was only a 6-episode season, but
thankfully, yeah.
So Connor, would you say that a lot of that stuff's been ironed out since that pilot? Like, is it a better show since then, or is it on the same level?
It's still a bit over the top cheesy with some of those things, but it kind of has fun with them, so I don't really mind.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we can compare and contrast these two things after we talk about Grandfathered. Like I said, this is the one with John Stamos. Peter, what did you think about this pilot?
I laughed once when he slapped the guy in the kitchen for calling my grandfather. Like immediately, that made me laugh. But otherwise, this just kind of felt like a really standard network sitcom. I wasn't really feeling the whole the whole I'm a bachelor, I'm a playboy, and oh shit, I'm a grandfather. It just feels like such a generic tripe for like a plot of something like this.
Yeah,
and I don't really feel like any of the characters were really doing much for me. I think his son character is really kind of two-dimensional.
I mean, he had maybe like 10 lines in the whole thing, which is basically, hey, this is the plot. Hey, I'm nervous. Yeah. Hey, my life sucks too.
And I kind of hate his voice as well, if I'm not going to... I have to be honest.
That's a very unfair complaint for the show there.
Maybe, but he just had like such a... Yeah, I'm really... Yeah, and the girl, I want to like her and she doesn't like me. And, you know, it was just a very sort of drony and weepy and... So no, and it just, you know, by the end, so oh, he actually has a family now, and oh, this is the setup, and it just felt very standard, I guess, is the word I'd use.
Yeah, I would pretty much wholeheartedly agree. What about you, Connor?
Yeah, pretty much. I also only laughed once. It was with the meat thermometer, and he's like, "This is a thermometer for meat," and he's like, "Humans are meat too." And then that was it. Other than the rest of it, it was just very standard, boring, predictable. Just didn't really do anything to grab my interest.
Yeah. So I guess if we were going to take on one of these, it would be the Grinder. But I mean, I gotta be honest. I don't know that I have the motivation to watch either. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, if I have to watch one of these going forward, it would be the Grinder, but I'm not exactly keen to do that either, to be honest.
Well, how about Connor? If you keep watching the show, and if by like episode 10 you're like, no, this is like a really great show now, then I mean,
all right, sounds
fair.
jump
back. Maybe we'll jump back in.
Yeah, it's easy to catch up on sitcoms anyway, so
yeah, you can binge them all day.
Yeah.
So. You know, I believe in Rob Lowe as a comedic actor. I think that that show definitely has a lot more potential. And I actually know who the two leads are. I know characteristics about both of their characters. With Grandfathered, it's like I know that John Stamos is superficial, and Padgett Brewster's there, which is cool. I like Padgett Brewster. But you know, they just kind of set it up as generically as possible, so it's kind of but you know, so that's the Grinder and Grandfathered, and that does it for our whole comedy block.